Oh! Where am I? What am I wearing? What day is it? Oh! It's Halloween!
Have a holly jolly.
Today's Halloween, and I felt like doing a Halloween themed video by talking about things that scared me as a kid. Everyone was scared of something as a kid. You know, it could be the little things or the things that make sense. But today, we're going to take a look specifically at the things that scared me as a kid. So be prepared to make fun of me. So, first we're going to start off with something pretty scary, as I wanted to go to the less scary things later on, so you can laugh at me more. But first, let's start off with something that was pretty scary. Any of you ever heard of a movie called Coraline? Coraline is the very first major film from Leica Studios, which is one of my favorite small studios in the movie industry, having created other movies such as Paranorman and Kubo and the Two Strings. Now, when I first saw this, I was not familiar with stop motion, and ever since this movie, I've been intrigued by stop motion, but it was mainly because of how unsettling it is. This is easily one of the scariest kids movies I have ever seen. I saw it at kind of an older age. Don't remember exactly when I saw it. I don't think I was 10, but maybe when I was 9 was when I saw it. But I remember being freaked out by this movie, especially by the belldom. Something I especially love during this movie is how uncomfortable you are watching it. Like, even the scenes where it's supposed to look nice and feel all whimsical, you can't help but feel uncomfortable, and it becomes apparent why in the finale. I will say this is easily one of the best movies ever made, and will instantly get you hooked on Leica's stuff. If you haven't watched this movie, watch it. It is worth your time. So, when looking for things from video games that scared me, I couldn't find anything. I guess video games just didn't scare me. No! No! Anything but the water rate! Oh god! Please! This thing. This thing. Now, Pikmin 2 is already a surprisingly dark kids game, at least at the age I played it on the Wii, but this thing scared me. The worst part about it is that when I first saw it, I thought it was just some regular enemy, so I was just like, okay, I'll just throw my Pikmin at it, and I lost a bunch of Pikmin. This thing can only be killed by purple Pikmin, and the area where it appears, you're only allowed to bring blue Pikmin. So it's basically an insta-kill. I can gladly say that the best moment in Pikmin 2 was finally destroying this thing. So, this is a movie that a lot of you guys probably remember. I used to find the idea of an inanimate object coming to life and trying to kill you scary. I still find it pretty scary, actually. Monster House. Now, the funny thing here is you're probably expecting me to talk about the movie and why it scared me as a kid, but it wasn't exactly the movie that scared me as a kid. I will say, though, it is a pretty creepy kids movie, and pretty good. I recommend you watch it if you haven't. But the thing that actually scared me in this movie was the DVD menu. Now, The thing about the DVD menu that scared me so much, other than the fact that it is admittedly pretty unsettling with it just being the house staring at you, it's the fact that if you watch the movie and go back to the DVD menu, the house would jump scare you. Sadly, couldn't find any footage of it, but guys, trust me, if you own it, it's true. But honestly, yeah, that's really the only thing about the movie that scared me. So, as a kid, I was obviously scared of sharp things like knives and, of course, monsters with sharp teeth. But most of all, I was scared of T-Rexes. They scared me. But there was one T-Rex that scared me more than any other. Now, T-Rexes, of course, scared me as a kid. To young 3 to 5 year old Jacob, they just looked like death machines. But when you give me this T-Rex with razor sharp teeth and red eyes, you have me scared. This thing, Sharptooth served as a pretty good antagonist for the movie Land Before Time, which is overall a pretty fantastic movie. But Sharptooth was scary to me at about 5. And can you really blame me? Look at this thing. It's horrifying. Also, it killed Littlefoot's mother, which, yeah, is pretty traumatic seeing as a young kid. I will definitely say that I have no regret being scared of this thing, and it was kind of a relief to see this big behemoth finally taken down. Hey, remember when Control Freak from Teen Titans wasn't just some character used as a metaphor for our whining for Teen Titans Go? Why are these glasses on me? The Teen Titans episode, Fear Itself, is an episode of Teen Titans that revolves around the Titans watching a horror movie. Upon watching it, Raven finds herself absolutely terrified by the monster from that movie, and her fear of the monster from that movie ends up embodying into the real deal. This monster is basically invincible and can only be defeated if Raven decides to face her fears. But other than that, it's impossible to her to... Well, yes, it kind of has a bit of a cheesy, weak point, how it can only be defeated by Raven facing her fears, but other than that, I remember finding the monster legit pretty scary as a kid. And to those wondering about the other Teen Titans episode people consider disturbing, no, I never watched the episode Haunted when I was super young. As for why I mentioned Control Freak before this, did you know that this episode is the first appearance of Control Freak? And back when he was, like, a villain, and not just some character Cartoon Network uses to make fun of the people complaining about Teen Titans Go. I wonder why. Okay, I will admit, I don't take ScoobyDoo seriously. Well, he's not anymore. But, I will admit, there are a few of the monsters that did frighten me. But, as a kid, I loved watching the made-for-TV Scooby-Doo movies. Specifically the ones from, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, because that, around the time of What's New Scooby-Doo, since, you know, that was my Scooby-Doo show. But there were 2 Scooby-Doo movies from that era that scared me. That being Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico, and Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. So, I'm gonna get the one that scared me more out of the way. The Loch Ness Monster from Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster, I personally found its design very creepy. But it wasn't just its creepy looking design that scared me. It was the fact that the monster, if I'm right, was 3D animated. Now, this is actually something that still kind of applies today to me, just not as badly. I always found 3D animation within a 2D animated movie or show quite frightening, which is actually why I found Courage the Cowardly Dog frightening with that one episode, but I'm not going to talk about that here because I feel like talking about things people don't usually talk about. But, yeah, I have to say, it's creepy mix of 3D and it's already creepy looking design. Definitely spooked me. As for Scooby-Doo and the Monster in Mexico, that one scared me less because the El Chupacabra, which doesn't even look like how the El Chupacabra is usually depicted, it just had this. It had a design, and it was actually taken more seriously in the first half of the movie, so I gotta say, it only scared me in the first half. In the last half, it became kind of just a laughing stock. But I have to say, in the beginning of the movie, the El Chupacabra definitely did creep me out with its glowing green eyes. Up next is actually the shortest one here. A sound that scared me as a kid.
Huh? You're scared of a sound? Yo, you scared of a sound? You're phony. No one's scared of a sound. Not even a 3-year-old.
Hey, so remember earlier when I said that the water wraith was the only thing in the video game that scared me? I lied. Okay, I'm gonna keep this specific segment pretty short because, to be honest, the shrooms didn't scare me that much. It was more of just one particular part of the game. That being this part of the game where the shrooms attack the Toadwood Forest and reduce this toad to nothing but a mushroom, just an inanimate object. And yes, before you say, but in the ending you find out that there is a way to restore those people. Well, here's a bit of a newsflash. I was not good at this game, so I never got the ending until I was 14. So I never saw this part. Whoopsie. Hey, so remember earlier when I said that CGI in a 2D setting unsettles me? Well,
Disturbs my slumber.
The Cave of Wonders is a major part of the plot of Aladdin. It's where the genie's lamp hides, and its 3D design kind of freaked me out. I apparently found out that I wasn't the only one freaked out about it, but its massive size, the fact that I could just instantly kill you, and that voice. But it honestly didn't scare me all too much. It was kind of just its design and voice. But hey, I can see why a lot of people were scared by this thing. So, Sesame Street. Yeah, one of the puppets creeped me out in Sesame Street. The Big Bad Wolf in particular. Gonna be honest, this is the only thing on this list where I cannot tell why I was scared of it. 'Cause I don't know. I have no idea why I was scared of this character. I just remember finding him scary as a kid, and I don't know why. I never will know why. But I will kind of ask this. This could be an explanation. Anyone else as a kid were unsettled by the Muppets with the big eyebrows? Ironic, because I kind of have big eyebrows. I don't know, maybe it's just me. So, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. What if I told you that the opening to Monsters, Inc. used to scare me? Now, to be fair, I wasn't actually scared of the opening animation. That was actually really cool. I still love that. I was scared as a kid by the opening scene with Mr. Biles, I think his name is, doing the scare simulation because of the two specific parts. One where the kid looks at his closet and you see his tentacles hanging out. The other when it goes under the bed and you see his glowing pink eyes. But I'm not really embarrassed. I was scared of it as a kid. Why am I embarrassed by it, though?
I was afraid of this until I was 11 years old!
I don't know why I was scared of it for that long, but still, Monsters, Inc. is a very excellent movie, and still my 5th favorite movie of all time. It is now time. You are about to learn what my childhood fear was.
Are you ready? Are you sure? Okay!
My childhood fear
Do you see anything?
I see a light.
A light?
Yeah, over there. Hey, Conscience, am I dead?
No, I see it too. What is it?
It's so pretty.
I'm feeling happy, which is a big deal for me.
I want to touch it. Oh,
Hey, come back. Come on back here.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get
I'm
you.
gonna swim with you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna be your best friend. Good feelings gone.
This was my biggest fear as a kid. This anglerfish is the scariest thing I've ever seen. To this day, it still is one of the scariest things I've seen in a kid's movie. I think the worst part is that anglerfishes in real life look just as scary, so this isn't even an over-dramatization. Honestly, as a whole, Finding Nemo was scary, but this anglerfish is just scary in every way possible. I've had nightmares about that thing since as a kid. I obviously am not scared of it now, but still, this thing has left an impact. I will never forget it. Well, that's it for my video today. Thank you for watching this far. Tell me what scared you as a kid in the comments below. Or, call me a wuss. I don't mind.
You hear the screeching of an owl, you hear the wind begin to howl.